We are courtside in Pullman, Washington for the Oregon Ducks on the road, trying to remain unbeaten. They are 3-0, but the Washington State Cougars unbeaten as well. They're off to a 2-0 start in league play. Dan, this is an important game, I think, for both programs. Oregon's got to stay pace.
Oregon's absolutely got to stay pace, and for Washington State, continue their unexpected start to Pac-12 play. This is going to be an up-tempo, up-and-down game because that's the exact style that both teams here want to play this afternoon.
And Oregon, of course, one of the best, if not the best, shot-blocking teams in the country, coming in right away. You think defense when you talk about Oregon, but they got 4 players averaging a double-figure scoring.
Oregon is extremely versatile on the offensive end. Defensively, like you mentioned, they've got the best shot-blocking tandem in all of college basketball with Jordan Bell and Chris Boucher igniting their transition game.
And Bell wins the opening tip against Josh Hawkinson, and we are underway in Pullman.
Let's go! See the Cougs right away in a man-to-man, and Oregon trying to put Josh Hawkinson in movement and put Connor Clifford in pick and rolls. Expect to see a lot of that this afternoon.
10 on the shot clock. Here's Pritchard with the ball. Flynn there defensively. And now Brooks from deep 3, and there's a great start for the Oregon Ducks.
Oregon starting a little 1-2-2 three-quarter court pressure, but that's what makes Dylan Brooks such a tough cover as a 4. Hawkinson not used to guarding a step past the three-point line.
Clifford using the dribble and scoring with the left hand.
That's what he does. Connor Clifford, great interior presence, good hands. Washington State typically goes to Clifford on the blow block to see if they can't get him started early in the game. This afternoon, no different.
Here's Bill. He's going to test Clifford on the other end now. Jump hook on the way is good.
As good as Clifford is on the offensive end, he can at times struggle guarding more versatile, more athletic posts on the defensive end.
And now some pressure on the ball. Pritchard forces the turnover, runs to the rim, and Hawkinson gets back defensively. Callison with it on the far side, and he stepped on the sideline. It'll be Oregon basketball, but that's senior leadership right there, Dan.
That is. Don't compound your mistake by making another one. Simply get back, move on, next play. That time Hawkinson does just that. Gets back defensively, gets the big block shot, taking away an easy 2 opportunity for Peyton Pritchard.
I'm not sure Pritchard even felt Hawkinson coming. Dorsey's shot with the left hand is short, well short, and it's off the Ducks, out of bounds, Cougar basketball. Dorsey, a sophomore out of Los Angeles at 6'4", 195, nearly 14 points a game.
You talk about scorers, that is exactly what that young man is. Had 28 points the other night against the Huskies with 8 threes. But he can put buckets up in a number of different ways. Yeah, you don't want to turn it over, but at least they've been dead ball turnovers that don't lead to direct basket opportunities.
Richard again. Jump stop. Pritchard had a shot at 3, turned it down, and it's now. That's a deep 3 over Arabu. And Oregon with a 6-point lead.
Washington State will live with that. They play good scattering report defense on that possession. Ennis shoots it at about 30%. That time knocks it down.
Flynn. Cougars need a good look here. Oregon with 5 attempts, 3 makes, all by different players, and now our first foul of the game. And it'll go against Oregon.
Good ball movement there by Oregon. Ennis simply steps into a uncontested three-pointer. But again, take your scouting report. If you're going to live with someone taking 3-point shots for the Ducks, it's going to be Ennis.
Clifford.
Might not be the most athletic, the most nimble of foot, but he's got great hands, and when he gets good post position, he's patient with it, and he can finish with either hand.
I'm not sure I pointed it out, but that foul at the other end was on Dylan Brooks. Here's an offensive foul this time on Jordan Bell.
Take that contact in the chest. Take that charge. Washington State's going to need plays like that from multiple players this afternoon if they're going to win this game.
Hawkinson. Flynn for 3. Bang!
He touched on it in the open. Malachi Flynn kind of unheralded freshman coming in, but he has been as good as Ernie Kent predicted to us in the preseason.
Cougars have hit their first 3 shots, eliminate the turnovers, and they would have the lead. Brooks now another 3. That one's long. Arabu with the rebound and watch him go. Right to the post. Hawkinson lost the handle. Skip. And nice job by Dorsey to slow down Callison, but Charles got around him. And the shot to the rim falls, and the Cougars lead 9-8.
Oregon usually much more solid on the defensive end on that possession. Driving angles allowed Callison to get to the rim, and then there was no help.
Pritchard, deep 3. And Hawkinson the rebound. Arabu. Flynn hanging out over there on the wing. He's got the ball now. See the pressure on the ball as Hawkinson is tripped by Dylan Ennis. Last time Oregon on this floor, January 2015. If you love offense, your kind of game. Nearly 200 points scored, or was it? It was over 200 points.
It was a battle for the ages. These two programs want to play fast, want to get up and down, and this was a perfect example of that. Washington State coming out with a big victory in overtime. A lot of familiar faces in that game.
207 points scored in that game. And right now, Oregon scoreless in the last 2 minutes and 16 seconds, and yet to grab a rebound. There haven't been many, but the Cougars with 4. Here's Connor Clifford out to the top to Arabu. And the deflection by Brooks. Hawkinson picks it up.
Oregon zone defense switching as much as they can, handing off to the next man in the zone.
Callison missed that jump shot from 17 feet.
And this is what makes Oregon so difficult, is the ability for Dylan Brooks to get the rebound on one end and push it on his own. Josh Hawkinson, as a 4, is not used to guarding that and having to get back and stop dribble penetration.
And Brooks with 5 of the 10 points for Oregon to start this game. Clifford again works his way in, went for the flush, and you see Chris Boucher with his first block of the game.
Boucher led the country in block shots a season ago. Might be slight of build, but he's got great timing as you see Josh Hawkinson come up with a block of his own.
Arabu, lightning fast, off balance, 11 to 10.
That's where Arabu's at his best. In transition, ability to use his speed and quickness. As his career has gone on, he's become better at finishing around the rim.
Brooks again at Hawkinson, spins, scores, and a chance for 3. Brooks already with 7 points. And Clifford clears the miss.
And it's funny because, you know, people think maybe you put him in a position to have to guard because you can score on him, as Chris Boucher is called for a foul over the top, fighting post position. But a lot of times you also do that because Hawkinson, as Washington State's leading scorer and leading rebounder, that wears him out. Maybe get him in foul trouble, but also wear down his endurance.
4th foul against Oregon. Hawkinson inside, his first field goal.
Just a knack for scoring the ball. Finding open areas on the floor is what he does best. And then producing.
Boucher, deep 3 over Clifford.
A unique skill set by Boucher. The ability to block shots on the defensive end, as well as the ability to stretch the floor as a 5-man. Shoots it extremely well from the 3-point line. On the season now, a shade under 40%.
Shot from the corner, and Arabu with the answer. 16-15 Washington State. Arabu with 5. Here's Brooks at Hawkinson. Falls off the rim. Arabu rips the rebound away up to Callison. Ball rolls out of bounds. And watch these two teams, Dan, really going at each other early as we take a look at that ball rolling out of bounds. Take another look at this play. It's off of Callison's right foot there, and nobody ever touches it again. This is what they're looking at, we're being told, is the tangle up at the other end as Arebu rips it away from Brooks.
Sees a little bit of a tangle up, maybe a little bit extra from Dylan Brooks as he's falling there. Take a closer look.
Oh!
And a little extra follow through on that. That's what the Cougar crowd is looking at here.
Now the question is intent on this play. Dylan Brooks is falling. You see his leg kind of get caught under him, Dan. It's hard to, like, that's a dangerous play for an athlete with his foot caught up under him. And I know what it looks like, that maybe there was some intent on that kick, but I don't think I'm going to be quick to go there.
I don't want to be too quick to go there either, but with everything that's happened with Grayson Allen from Duke and his tripping, referees are on the lookout for any type of extracurricular activity. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with at the call.
When you consider the torque that's on your leg when he's falling down and your leg is trapped under you and you've got to get it out or risk knee injury, there's going to be some torque on that kick.
Trying to do it, I don't think there was the intent there, but it kind of has that look that it could be. This will be interesting to see what they say.
They're over talking to the Oregon coaching staff now. Dana Altman getting an explanation. And you'll be able to tell a lot from his reaction. They're also talking to Ernie Kent. He seems satisfied. Dana Altman, not so much. As we take another look. Now watch it. I mean, his knee is caught up under him, Dan. That foot's under there.
Yeah,
the question is whether or not he carried it all the way up on purpose, right?
His foot was caught underneath him as he fell, so it's obviously going to come up, but then it looked like he had a little bit of extra push forward that might not have been necessary.
And they have called a flagrant 2 against Dylan Brooks, and Dana Altman is not happy with that call.
Flagrant 2 is the intent. And Dana Altman is not excited about that call. Dylan Brooks
he not doesn't too happy appear to about like it himself. And so Hawkinson at the free throw line. And you can tell by the early 6+ minutes of this game, Dan, that this is going to be a hotly contested basketball game. Both these teams have been going at each other. And Hawkinson hits them both. And they'll retain possession as well.
And rightfully so, it should be.
And Brooks is gone.
Yes, the flagrant 2 serves as malicious intent. They require an ejection. So it's the 2 free throws in the ball for Washington State. That is an enormous blow for the Ducks. And if there's one knock on Dylan Brooks' game at times, is that he can be overly emotional. You see him pulling on his jersey, playing with a lot of swagger that can be good, but at times he hasn't controlled it. You look back at the NCAA tournament when Oregon knocked off Duke, and Coach K wasn't all too excited about how Dylan Brooks reacted. He's tempered it for the most part this season, but got the best of him on that play.
That shot by Callison is off. Casey Benson, number 2, playing point guard. Here's a deep 3 by Dylan Ennis. That helps Oregon's cause, but it cannot be understated. Dylan Brooks out of the game. Dan, this is one of the best players in the league. He had scored 7 points in the first 7 minutes.
Not only one of the best players in the league, but in the country, he's been playing unbelievable. Knocked off 2 unbeatens last week in UCLA USC. He scored 25.5. After coming off an off season where he had a stress fracture in his foot, it took him a little bit of time to get acclimated, to get comfortable again. And this Oregon Duck team took a while to get him used to being back in that alpha dog role. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond and react this afternoon after he has to take an early trip to the locker room.
Dorsey jump shot. Well, that kick by Brooks is going to be examined now for days to come.
And it will be because of everything that's happened with Grayson Allen at Duke.
Callison jump shot, good. And now a really big opportunity for Washington State with Brooks out of the game. And it'll be interesting to see how this Oregon Ducks team is able to answer the call with him in the locker room.
Well, they've definitely got the firepower behind Tyler Dorsey.
Roman Sorkin's shot is way off. And Malachi Flynn with the basketball to Callison. Hawkinson from Franks.
Nifty little left-hand pass, threading the needle by Robert Franks. Robert Franks, sophomore from Vancouver, Washington, has been playing very well as of late. He's been up and down, a little bit inconsistent.
Cold, hard facts. They played some dandies over the years. In fact, there's been only a few other matchups where there's been more. Oregon and Washington State have played 291 times. We already highlighted the last time they played on this floor. It went to overtime, but man, some shenanigans already in the first 6 or 7 minutes of this game, Dan Ditka.
You hate to see the Ducks lose him for the rest of the afternoon, but they've got a challenge up in front of them, whether he's in or whether he's out.
Pritchard to Ennis. Well, the Ducks have to try to dig this win out now without their leader. But this is what I think they've got plenty of firepower and talent to get this done.
They do. He's obviously an enormous piece of what they do, but this talent on this Oregon team is really good. They've been playing very well as of late. It's going to be a gut check to win on the road without your leading player, but it's going to be a test.
Arebu just picked up his 4th rebound. Franks misses the shot, and Boucher there for the rebound, and now transition. Sorkin running the floor, saved it. Benson has it. He's on the floor. And a timeout is called for Oregon.
Incidents over the years. I'm not saying Dylan Brooks has done anything comparable to what Grayson Allen has done, but there's more of an emphasis on extracurricular activity, and that's why they took a long, long look at it.
And the officials have called it a severe kick to the groin, and I think you can take it one step farther. And you take a look at the young man playing for the Golden State Warriors that seemed to have a problem with that last year as well.
Yeah,
a lot of kicks to the groin.
He has. And the NBA has deemed it an unnatural versus a natural move. I'd be interested to hear what the refs say if that is a natural or unnatural fall.
And Peyton Pritchard drops it in, and we've got a 2-point game. Oregon had been scoreless in better than 2 minutes before that bucket.
Nice one-dribble pull-up there by Peyton Pritchard. Won 4 state titles at Westland High School just outside Portland. Heck of a player. Originally committed to Oklahoma. Decided to stay closer to home and play for Dana Altman. That's a great get for the Oregon Duck program.
Deontay Daniels on the floor for the Cougars. Here's Arebu falling away.
The shot clock going down. That time, great defensive awareness by the Ducks. Switching, handing men off, forcing a contested shot.
Here's the lob. Boucher with the catch and the hammer.
Back pick against the zone. Throw it up. Chris Boucher, seemingly about 12 feet above the floor when he caught that for the flush.
Grab a penny off the top of the glass. And we're tied at 22s. Robert Franks. Deontay Daniels. He's a good shooter for Ernie Kent. Not shot it well this year, not shot it enough, frankly, Dan.
Well, his coming out party as a freshman, very first game, D1, 5 made threes. That's only his 4th on the season, but he's got the ability to knock it down from long range, but he's best on the defensive end as a perimeter defender.
4 of 11 now on the season for Daniels, 10 on the shot clock. And the offensive foul called on Jordan Bell.
Jeff Baller just keeping his chest in front.
He sold it too.
May have sold it a little bit, but he took the brunt of it.
Bell picks up his 2nd. That's 6 against Oregon. And both the fouls against Jordan Bell have been charges.
But if you're Oregon, you live with that because you know that that's where he's at his best. Attacking the basket, whether it's diving off pick and rolls, running in transition, or on the low block.
Flynn, 3-ball. Malachi Flynn gives Washington State the 6-point lead. And Flynn with 6. Well, you and I called a few of the Washington State. Boucher's listed at 6'10". When he gets those arms extended, he looks like he's about 7'8".
He's such a unique player in college basketball. His ability to block shots and then space the floor on the offensive end, whether it's shooting threes from the deep corner or trail threes in transition is extremely unique.
Pritchard with it. Hit a 3 on their last possession. There's a 3-point shot by Boucher that's off. Flynn. Hawkinson wanting the ball. Boucher fronting him. Cougars very patient, Dan, on offense.
They've been much more patient than they would typically be. They want to play up and down.
Clifford jump hook baseline rolls off.
But when they see an opportunity to post up a Clifford or a Josh Hawkinson, they'll slow it down and they'll really try to force the ball in there.
There's Pritchard's jump shot. That's long. Arebu with the rebound. Daniels. Hawkinson. Double team Kane. And a travel on Hawkinson. Arebu has 5 points, 5 rebounds for the Cougars. He's come to play tonight. Cavell Big B Williams also on the floor for Oregon. He's got the ball now, and he'll shoot free throws as Clifford picks up the personal foul. That'll be his first.
That last possession, great job by Tyler Dorsey. He grows as a player. He'll learn to do that more and more consistently.
Big B Williams out of London, England, 6'11", 230. His first points. Washington State up by 4 with the ball. Clifford, bang! Oh! Well, that's going to be interference. Out and hit his hands again.
And he kept hanging on the rim, giving it the ability to drop in.
Yeah, that's offensive.
Big Connor, if you're going to get up, dunk it clean. And if you're the Cougars, you need every bucket you have. Obviously, the loss of Dylan Brooks is not good for Oregon as Dorsey mishandles the ball out of bounds.
3 turnovers now for Oregon, and they have not hit a field goal in better than 3 minutes. So already they're missing Dylan Brooks. Flynn, that ball was tipped. That's a block by Boucher. That's not out of the ordinary. Boucher averages nearly 3 blocks a game. Dorsey into the corner. Boucher, another 3.
Another great job by Dorsey. Dribble penetration. Taking a look at it this time. Dorsey with a dribble penetration creates the attention. Not 1, but 2 help side Cougars go to take care of the problem, leaving Boucher open for the corner.
Boucher came into this game shooting 30% from behind 3. And he's got a couple of makes already in this game. And Oregon on a 5-0 run, and it's the Cougars who have gone cold a bit here offensively. And now a whistle and a foul on Oregon. This is on Keith Smith, number 11.
Produced a number of NBA players, Jamal Crawford, Nate Robinson, DeJounte Murray, to name a few.
Ike Arebu. And he is also now at 7 points. He needed 5 points coming in to join that 1,000-point club in Cougar history. He's the 36th player in program history to get there. And there's Daniels inside with the rebound, and it's Keith Smith over the back. Dylan Ennis needs 12 points tonight to reach that 1,000-point plateau for Oregon. He and Hawkinson there. Of course, Josh with a chance for his 50th career double-double in this game today as well. 5-point Washington State lead. Boucher can shoot the 3, and he can put it on the deck.
As a 5-man, you're not used to having to guard somebody out there that can shoot the ball. And then Josh Hawkinson is aware of it. He closes out too high. Boucher simply puts the ball on the deck, gets to the rim, foul.
And Boucher, I'm sorry, Dan, but Boucher, our first player into double figures. Arebu got by Ennis. He's met at the rim by Boucher, and a foul is called. But you saw the ability.
Washington State's a little 1-4 high set, hit the wing. Oregon's help side is nowhere to be found. Arebu recognizes that. Strictly a straight line drive to the rim at that point with his quickness.
With 4:33 to play first half. Arebu with 8 points, 3 of 4 now from the line. Pritchard. Boucher. Tipped out by Bigby Williams. Loose ball, still loose. Players on the floor.
That's a great effort by both teams right there, flying all over for the loose ball, getting on the deck.
Franks and Bigby Williams really going at it here.
But this is what you didn't see out of Washington State Cougars 6, 7, 8 games ago. They weren't flying around on the defensive end. They weren't connected. They weren't going after every loose ball. With effort like this, you can see every reason why they're on a 4-game winning streak. And they're playing well this afternoon against the Ducks.
Next tie-up belongs to Oregon. That's a nice defensive play by Sorkin to deny that pass to Clifford.
They weren't necessarily the flashiest, but they sure made the game simple. And obviously, Washington State had a good stretch with those two in the backcourt.
Those teams could really defend. I should clean this up. The Cougars haven't scored a field goal in better than 4 minutes. And Franks from 3 is long. Tipped out by Clifford. And Oregon picks up the loose ball. That's Bigby Williams. And I'm sure those guys in the studio are going to break down that kick by Dylan Brooks.
It is. And to clarify some of the comments that I may have made, I don't know if he had the intent, but with everything that has happened in college basketball, and in particular with Grayson Allen, the refs are going to be sensitive, and they're going to take a longer than normal look when players get tangled up like that. Getting it
I mean, if it's just sitting on the floor and he kicks up straight up, falling down, then you got to question it. But
yeah, you are
for me,
completely
there's
right.
a gray area because his leg was trapped up.
No, without a doubt, there is a gray area. It wasn't just in space where no players were tangled up. And that's where it becomes so difficult, but the refs must take any potential issue like that seriously.
Arebu driving, and 2 more for Ike. He's into double figures with 10.6 rebounds. Either way, it was a severe kick by Dylan Brooks. Ennis creates some space, missed the shot. Clifford the rebound, under 3 to play here, first half. Washington State 2-0 to start Pac-12 play for the first time since Weaver and those teams played 07-08. And those teams were fun to watch down here in Pullman. Ball tipped out of bounds.
Not so much, and that was a little nonchalant, especially with the shot clock winding down.
Arebu for 3. Rebound cleared, Roman Sorkin. Ennis drives right at the smaller Daniels. Leaves it for Bigby Williams and a chance for 3.
Penetration, loses track of his man. Bigby Williams, big body, defensively. He's able to guard pick and rolls. He's able to take care of the defensive glass. With Dylan Brooks being out the rest of this afternoon, he's going to play an integral part of the outcome of this game.
Franks drives. Clifford had a seal there for a moment. 7 on the shot clock. Franks from the free throw line. Too hard. Clifford the rebound, but he just picked up number 3.
That'll pose an interesting question for Ernie Kent coming out to start the second half. Do you start with Clifford, or do you go with Pollard, or do you go with Franks?
And this can tie it. Minute 41 to play. Jeff Pollard on the floor for Washington State. And Clifford will be on the bench for the rest of the way this half. Flynn with 6 points on just 3 shots. And there's a little mid-range game. Actually, his 5th shot there.
Screen, rescreen action allows you to set the second one much lower. That time, Malachi Flynn raises up over the top of Dylan Ennis. Good-looking shot.
Flynn with 8. Pritchard driving now. Right to the glass. That can't happen. His 4th point. That was too easy, Dan.
That was too easy, but give credit to Peyton Pritchard. Creative, using that pick and roll, and then the ability to finish with the left hand. Impressive.
Flynn a long way from the bucket to get him into their offense. He needs help now. Here's Franks near the elbow, drives on Sorkin, spins, blocked from behind by Bigby Williams. And Pritchard now on the move for the Ducks.
2-for-1 opportunity if they recognize it.
Ennis got Daniels in the air. Dorsey the 3. That's long. Great rebound by Pollard. Got it to Arebu. And now I play for 1.
The opportunity to go in at halftime with the lead if the Cougars can execute and get a bucket here.
Ten now. 5 for Malachi Flynn. They're chasing him into the paint. He just throws it to the rim. Shot won't go. Here's Ennis at the horn. Hits glass, but an interesting first half in Pullman. Washington State even with Oregon 37s. And welcome back to Pullman, tied at 37 here to start the second half. We just talked with Randy McCall, the referee for this game, and he talked about flagrant 2. The word intent does not play into this fact. It's about extreme, severe contact to the groin. If it's unnatural and severe, it's an automatic flagrant 2. Like, it was almost a black and white call for them. They were not getting into the head of the player to decide if there was intent.
Good job by the official, Randy McCall, to come over and explain that. We can move on from that, but still a tough blow for the Ducks this afternoon. Jordan Bell picked up 2 fouls in that first screen. Hard dive to the basket. He is a tough cover when he does that.
He's played 6 minutes to this point. Just 2 points for Jordan Bell. And that'll be the question for Oregon as this game goes on. Where do the points go or come from? And we have one of the players coming over. That's Ennis. I hope our stage manager, Susan's okay. She just took a shot.
She took a charge. Susan took a charge.
195, but he's built like a halfback for sure. He threw a block over here. And it'll be Oregon basketball still. There's Ennis. We're lucky nobody got hurt on that play. Ennis into the corner. Boucher. Franks there defensively. 5 on the shot clock. Pritchard. The deep heave is off. Hawkinson tips it to himself. 20th rebound of this game for Washington State. And there are liquids everywhere on this table. Here's Franks. Nice catch from Hawkinson. High-low. And a chance for 3 for the Cougars.
Good entry, high-low pass, big to big there. Robert Franks been showing flashes of brilliance over the last few weeks. The ability to finish with the left hand off the step through. Impressive.
And Jordan Bell just picked up his 3rd personal foul.
This is where Dana Altman trusts his players. Jordan Bell, junior, experience. You can trust him to play through some foul trouble. See if he can't get a couple extra minutes of playing time out of him before having to go back to the bench with Roman Sorkin.
Bell with the fake, the drive, and the finish. He's got 4 points. And I was about to ask you, before the collision happened, with Dylan Brooks not into the game, where do the points come from for Oregon here in the second half? He's the guy generally, at least over the last week or two, Dan, that's been the guy offensively.
Well, he's been playing very well, like we've mentioned early in the broadcast and throughout, but Tyler Dorsey has been playing extremely well himself. 28 the other night. I look for him to be able to get more involved here in the second half. But Peyton Pritchard is a player who's been somewhat quiet in this first half, but he's played big in stretches this season as Boucher drops it off to Bell for the hammer. but Pritchard has played very well. Had 15 points, 9 assists in the victory against UCLA.
Here's a Rebu on the baseline. Hawkinson, tough bucket that goes. Josh with 8 points. Here's Ennis. There's some confusion there between Dorsey and Bell, and Ennis misses the 3, but Bell the offensive rebound and a new clock. And now Boucher looks a bit confused for Oregon. Pritchard shoots it. That's off. Hawkinson the rebound. Josh with 8 points, 5 rebounds now. The ball kicked out of bounds by Pritchard.
Hawkinson finding open areas. Irebu rejects the pick and roll. And he finds that open area with the finish. But Boucher, the big fella, putting the ball on the deck and finding rely on, especially in the absence of Dylan Brooks.
That's number 13, Jeff Pollard for the Cougars.
And negate the easy 2 that was on its way. They switched Ennis on top of Hawkinson. They had him.
Well, there's another easy 2, though. That's the problem with that Pollard off the inbound.
Well, that's just miscommunication defensively, leading to the open bucket by Pollard underneath.
Ennis, this is a 2. Dylan Ennis with 9 points. Timeout, Oregon. Field goal percentage on defense. This is one of the best defensive teams in the Pac-12, Dan. They're not playing like that today. That's not anything to do with Dylan Brooks.
No, it doesn't. I think Washington State has been as effective on the offensive end as I've seen them all year, spreading the floor, knocking down shots. And Oregon is typically really good defensively because they've got great length and athleticism. They're versatile. They can switch at multiple positions.
Flynn with an opening but missed the shot. And Roman Sorkin the rebound. And Casey Benson, number 2, back on the floor for the Ducks. He's got the ball. Ennis looks at the shot clock. Bigby Williams sets the screen. Sorkin drives, finger roll, in and out.
That ball looked like he released it completely above the cylinder. I don't know how that didn't drop.
Flynn misses the transition 3. And Dylan Ennis with the basketball for Oregon. Into the paint, through Hawkinson and Daniels. Ennis scores. He's got 11 points.
Teardrop up over the top. That's a important shot for any guard to have in their repertoire. Get it up soft on the glass. Even if it doesn't go in, has a chance to roll around the rim and have one of your bigs clean up the mess.
Flynn. The deflection out of bounds with 2 on the shot clock.
Freshman of the year, that's for sure.
Flynn. Boy, that's a tough pass from Irebu.
And it's only the 7th turnover on the afternoon for the Cougars, but that's at least the 3rd unforced error. And when you're trying to beat a team who's expected to beat you, you cannot have those type of mistakes.
Wide open, Bigby Williams inside from Ennis. Bigby Williams with 8 points. And Oregon now with that 4-point lead. You can tell, Dan, they're starting to assert themselves again offensively.
And then in pick and rolls. Because the floor is so spaced, you have the ability to hit dive guys.
That foul called on Roman Sorkin, his first. Ernie Kent gets Connor Clifford back on the floor. He needs that size in there as Oregon's starting to beat him inside. Here's Clifford. Double team. Actually, 3 black jerseys are there. Callison, though, bails him out with a 3-pointer. Charles with 7 points.
Big bucket there. Just when it seemed as though Oregon was getting comfortable and about to push this lead out. Callison with the big knockdown 3. Now Cougars in transition. Clifford with the drag screen on Malachi Flynn.
Callison, baseline jumper. That's 5 quick points. And the Cougars, down by 4, now lead it by a point. Callison with 9 points for the Cougars. Ennis, deep 3 through a Rebu. Ennis with 14.
Good recognition. When the defender goes under the ball screen, if you're in shooting range, stop behind the screen and let it fly. Ennis doing exactly that.
Hawkinson left alone. That rattles out.
Little out of character for Hawkinson to shoot a 3 off the dribble. Has only made 8 of them on the season.
Ennis drives, missed the lay-in. Sorkin had a point-blank look and missed it. Hawkinson clears it to Callison. Charles, the 3 is off the front of the rim. And Ennis with it, who just, by the way, went over 1,000 points himself for Oregon. Sorkin's 3-point shot, good.
He can do that. Only the 7th made 3 on the season, but he shoots it at a over 50% clip with limited attempts, but Dana Altman gives him the freedom to be able to pick and pop.
Malachi Flynn. Hawkinson trying to go inside to Clifford, but Sorkin with the deflection.
Ennis doing a good job of making Hawkinson commit defensively. There 4. Little throwback pass leading to a wide open 3 that Sorkin knocks down.
Oregon on a 6-0 run right now. They lead it by 5. And Boucher over the back of Hawkinson.
And I don't know if that's a good foul because, you know, Josh Hawkinson does a really good job of trying to seal Boucher down low, but with your ability to alter shots and block shots as Chris Boucher is, I think I'd want to take my chances with Hawkinson scoring up over the top of me. Easier said than done as a big man. I know I'm just a little guard making comments about bigs, but so I've been told by other big men I played with.
Flynn with the ball. Here's Clifford. He puts it on the deck, drives, falls off. Hawkinson, offensive rebound, his 8th rebound. He's got 10 points. 2 rebounds away from his 50th career double-double. Bell drives, and he's fouled, and it goes through. Clifford picks up his 4th personal foul for the Cougars. So Jordan Bell at the free throw line where he shoots 75%. Connor Clifford from Washington State just picked up his 4th personal foul. That's a big foul with this much time left in the game because Oregon had started to assert themselves in the paint with Clifford out. He was in there for a couple of possessions, and he's gone again. And now a foul on Pritchard.
Clifford's been effective on the offensive end, but on the defensive end, he's had issues.
Here's Josh Hawkinson with Boucher right there. That's a lot of length to get that ball by. Callison threw it off of Benson. That's a legal play. Heads up, but that isn't. They call the carry on Callison. So watch this, Dan. This is crafty.
Crafty it is. About to get an over and back call. Throw it back to the front court off your opponent, but ends up getting control of it and then being called for a carry.
You'll see that play on how to be an official in the video manual. Callison with his 3rd turnover of the game. Here's Ennis in the corner. They'll shoot it over Hawkinson, and Dylan Ennis on fire right now. 17 points for the Ducks.
He's showing something here this afternoon.
Oregon on a 12-2 run right now. Ennis has scored 10 points in this second half as we take a look at Dylan Brooks and the call that cost him, or the kick that cost him, the remainder of this game.
But to go back to your conversation with Coach Altman this morning is, you know, they are missing a big piece off of that team last season. Elgin Cook did so many things for that ball club last year that went unnoticed. It was their best defender on the perimeter. He could get you buckets in transition. He was a respectable shooter from the three-point line. He was tough as heck. He was versatile. They're trying to figure out ways to get some of those characteristics done by someone else. I tell you what, Dylan Ennis has done a heck of a job doing those things this afternoon.
Backdoor cut by Callison. And he hits the little turnaround. He's got 11 points. And since Darian King left the program for the Cougars, it's been Charles Callison who's really emerged for Washington State.
Stepped up, has played extremely well.
Boucher over Arebu, huge size advantage there. Boucher hits his third three of the game. He's got 14 points. For a guy who came into the game shooting 30% out there. Flynn, stop and go. Boucher was there to affect that shot. And now Bell, Benson, laying. That's Oregon Duck offense there.
That is Oregon Duck basketball to a T. The willingness to push it in transition and be unselfish. They are really on a run right now. 17-4 run. They are starting to click on all cylinders, and it's starting on the defensive end as Jordan Bell almost gets another steal there.
And Connor Clifford back on the floor for Ernie Kent with those 4 fouls. Basically, Ernie saying it's now or never with about 9 minutes to play. Backdoor, Arebu, his first points of this half.
Good recognition there. Ike Arebu's being denied. Simply back cut when you're dribbled at to a good finish.
Ennis, Boucher, the flush. $16 points for Boucher, and you saw Clifford just allow Ennis to go right around him. He did not want to pick up his 5th foul. Clifford, but some backside help defensively by Boucher.
Ennis dribbling the baseline. Boucher simply recognizing Hawkinson goes to help find the open area, and then in transition, be a willing passer. And then in the half court, be a willing passer again, skipping it to the open man Boucher, catching it ready to shoot. What a luxury to have a 5 who can step out and knock it down from the three-point line.
Flynn, Boucher got a finger on that. Pritchard with it now. Oregon has hit their last 6 shots and have opened up a 12-point lead. Dana Altman changing the play for the offense. Here's Ennis. Got Hawkinson in the air.
We got a switch. They had a switch. Had a Arebu on Big B Williams. Couldn't get it to him.
From the corner is off. And there's Malachi Flynn. Did a great job to get Boucher in the air, Dan, on that first attempt. And then calmly knocked it down.
For a freshman, these 2 point guards, Pritchard and Flynn, have a very good feel for the game. And that doesn't just happen overnight. That comes through rigorous preparation and workouts, playing open gyms.
Chris Boucher now 4 of 6 from behind 3.
And you can just tell that Hawkinson and Franks, neither of them are used to guarding a 5 that far out on the perimeter.
He's hit 12 on the season coming into the game. Got 4 today. And Robert Franks.
And I think Robert Franks is a big key to this Cougar ball club as they move further along into Pac-12 play. He's been playing very well as of late. Had 10 the other night against Oregon State, but he can stretch you a little bit as a power forward, step out to the three-point line, but his ability to play more consistent is going to be key.
Well, Arebu and Hawkinson fought off over that rebound. And the Ducks offense has got it rolling here in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Time now for a Motel 6, 6th man of the game. It is Chris Boucher, 19 points on 4 of 7 shooting, also 7 rebounds. But he's a guy, Dan, that he's just tough to play around. He's tough to score on. He's running and jumping. He's deflecting shots from behind the arc. He's deflecting shots at the rim. Nice player for Dan.
He's a unique player to the college game. The fact that as a 5, he can step out and shoot threes. But defensively, he's a game changer because he's a shot blocker who blocks shots but also puts the fear in you that he's going to alter your shot. And then if other teams come at you with pick and rolls, he's got the lateral foot speed to be able to switch pick and rolls, which very few teams across the country can switch pick and rolls with their 5-man. Great luxury for Dana Altman and the Oregon Duck program.
12-point Oregon lead. Plenty of time for Washington State to hand Dick out, but what do they got to do now to climb back into this?
They just got to stay with the process. You keep moving the ball side to side, get open shots, and then knock them down. That time, didn't get either. 4th
turnover of the game for Charles Callison as a team. Washington State with 9. And there's Ennis. Big second half so far for Oregon. Bell with the catch, skip into the corner. Boucher, another 3.
Well, what makes good teams great is unselfishness. Jordan Bell literally had a 3-foot jump hook. Passed that up to find Chris Boucher, who knocks it down from the corner for his 5th 3 of the night. Obviously, without Dylan Brooks, they've had to find scoring from different areas, and they found that tonight with Ennis and Boucher.
Well, that pass wasn't there. Ennis took it away, and now Boucher with 2 more at the other end on the run-out dunk.
In bunches here in this second half. We knew they wanted to play up tempo. They've done just that in the second half. Bad shots, block shots, turnovers lead to offensive opportunities for the opposition in transition. Boucher with a dunk. This time, Jordan Bell, I got a gimme, but you know what? You're the man of the hour, Chris Boucher. Dial up this 3 on a silver platter.
Let me ask you, though. I know Boucher made the shot, but is it a good decision when you're 6'9", 6'10" under the rim not to dunk it and to throw it for 3?
Oh, you had to play
that was an easy dunk.
You had to play devil's advocate. It's great for team camaraderie and chemistry, that's for sure. But, you know, we take a look at the Pac-12 standings. To me, there are 2 clear-cut teams that are head and shoulders above each other, and that is Oregon and UCLA. I think Arizona and USC are extremely good, but they're in that second tier this year. I know Wildcat fans aren't going to like to hear that, but I think Oregon and UCLA stand out above the rest.
Deontay Daniels is off on that shot. Boucher picks up his 8th rebound. The Ducks have hit 9 of their last 11 shots. They're on a 6-0 run. But you can watch Arizona coming up after this game.
Yeah, if we get stuck in Pullman with the snowstorm coming this way, I might have to stop somewhere and make sure I watch the game.
Boucher, look at that ball movement. Bell out to Boucher. He'll shoot another 3, and he'll hit another 3. Now 6 of 9 for the game. Chris Boucher lighting it up in Pullman.
I mean, why not? Young man is on fire.
Career high for him. Hawkinson the miss. And now you really sense the energy has fallen off at Beasley Coliseum. The Cougars not playing with that great intensity, Dan, that they had in the first half.
Well, you knew Oregon had the pieces and the talent that they were going to make a run. Washington State hung tough for quite a while, and then Oregon's run has been pretty impressive.
Callison tipped it out to Bell. Boucher into the corner. He drives. No shot. Foul before the shot on Deontay Daniels.
I'd like the college game to move to become very similar to the NBA game and allow this continuation, because he didn't put the ball on the floor for one more dribble. He was in his motion of attacking the rim, getting into his shot.
Spoken from a guy who never saw a bad shot.
That's true, too. Reward the offense. Come on.
Bell at the elbow. Hand off, trying to get it to Pritchard, but Malachi Flynn takes it away. Bell takes it right back. Ennis had a look at 3. So did Boucher.
He wanted to line that one up, but he thought twice. Under 4 minutes on the clock. Let's run a little bit of clock.
This is Ennis. The Ducks on a 9-0 run. 7 on the shot clock. Ennis to Bell, and another two-handed hammer.
Dylan Ennis penetrating, creating the attention, dropping it off to Jordan Bell. I mean, that's what makes this Duck team so difficult. You don't have to run plays for Boucher or for Bell, yet they are so effective in the opportunities that they get.
And Boucher just picked up the personal foul, trying to deny that. Barbasol, close shave player of the game. It's Chris Boucher, 25 points now, 6 of 9 from behind 3, couple of blocks. He also has 8 rebounds. That's a line, huh, Dan?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to choose the player of the game when somebody puts up a line like that. But the most impressive thing is he's done it all within the flow of the offense.
Flynn trying to go to Hawkinson under the bucket. But Boucher was there. He's been everywhere for Oregon. And the Ducks on an 11-0 run currently, and the Cougars have been scoreless in the last 4 minutes. But since then, you just see the caliber of the athleticism of this Oregon team kind of dominating, taking over.
There's a reason they're ranked in the top 25, and there's a reason they're going to continue to move higher. They're extremely talented. They play with a purpose.
Boucher thought about it again, maybe a third time, and then drove and scored.
Thought about it is right. That young man, he needs to understand threes are worth more than twos. Let that fly from behind the arc.
Callison got it away. And I believe they just called an offensive foul, and is this on Clifford?
Think about it. I guess I'll just attack the rim.
Yeah, Connor Clifford just picked up his 5th. Robert Franks back into the game for Washington State. Also in there, KJ Langston, number 10, a redshirt sophomore out of Chicago. And the turnover. This is Langston with the basketball. Franks, corner 3. That kid's got a lot of potential. He's 250 pounds, got great feet, soft touch like that.
He's got a world of potential, like you said, and he's starting to become more and more comfortable. Every player has their own kind of timeline of when things click, and I think it's starting to click for him.
Pritchard's 3 ball is good. Oregon now on a 16-3 run, and we have a timeout with 1:47 to play. And Dan, this to me is a impressive start for Oregon. Their wins have been on the road. They're going to win here today in Pullman without Dylan Brooks. It's been impressive this start. They beat UCLA and USC. Both those teams are unbeaten.
It's a big-time start. I mean,
this is not the 15th best team in the country.
No, 2 unbeaten teams at home, and then you go on the road, and I don't care what league you're in. To win on the road in league is extremely difficult. To sweep a road trip in league is unbelievably difficult, and they just made it look easy.
Bigby Williams' shot is off. Charlie Noble, a senior out of Irvine, California, on the floor for Oregon. Here's Langston from the corner. KJ hits it. We've got a minute to play. Benson. Smith. Ten on the shot clock. Benson trying to throw it into the corner, but Daniel saw that coming.
Rare turnover by Benson. Led the country last season in assist to turnover ratio.
Under 25 to play. Daniels drives. Was bumped. Reagan jump shot from the corner, good. And that's going to do it. Our final is going to be 85-66. Dana Altman and Dylan Brooks did not play for most of this game for the Oregon Ducks, but yet they found the offense in that second half from players like Chris Boucher and Dylan Ennis. Boucher had 27 points. Ennis had 17 points. And before it was all said and done, Oregon outscored Washington State in the second half 48-29, and they win running away with it. 85-66, our final from Pullman, Washington. For Dan Dickow and the rest of our crew, I'm Greg Heister saying good night from Pullman, Washington.